At 3 years old, he started laughing in his sleep. Several hours later, people were dying. First, random ones. Then, those whom his mother hated. By the time the woman realized the connection, it was already too late. Because the next death, he predicted himself. And it was a death she could not allow.
Her 3-year-old son started laughing in his sleep. The first night, a stranger died. The second, a crime boss. The third night, she tried to wake the child and saw a black vein growing under his skin. Then she understood the terrible truth. If he woke up, someone would die. But if he didn't wake up, he might stop being her son. This is the story of how a mother's love became the world's most dangerous weapon. Before we dive deeper, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you will not want to miss a single second of what happens next. The silence in Jaehwan's penthouse is a physical weight. It presses down, muffles the distant, humming pulse of Seoul, and smothers every breath. Aaliyah stands before the floor-to-ceiling window, a lone figure against a sprawling galaxy of cold city lights. Her reflection is a ghost she barely recognizes. 2 years ago, she was a warrior. Now she's a watchman, a guardian of a terrifying secret. Her focus is pulled inward, to the chilling echo of her son's laughter from the nursery and the constant phantom sting on her right shoulder blade. The spiral tattoo of Yemoja, once a proud mark of her heritage, now feels like a brand, a festering wound that grows darker and more intricate with each death. She gave birth to an heir. Now she fears she has birthed an executioner. Jaehwan enters the room. He moves without a sound, a predator in his own domain of polished chrome and obsidian glass. His tailored suit is a whisper of expensive fabric, his presence so absolute it seems to bend the light around him. His handsome face is a mask of perfect, unreadable calm, but his eyes, intense and black, betray a flicker of something she has never seen in him before, a deep, gnawing fear. He does not ask about the dead men. He does not need to. His enemies are falling, one by one, without a single blade drawn or a shot fired. His empire solidifies with every innocent giggle that escapes his son's lips in the dead of night. He should be celebrating. Instead, he watches her, his gaze analytical, searching for the crack in her composure. He is sleeping soundly, Jaehwan says. His voice is low, controlled, the same tone he uses when negotiating the fate of lesser men over a secure line. Aaliyah turns from the window, her body tense. The long purple braid, a vibrant slash of color in the monochrome luxury of the penthouse, sways behind her. He laughed again, just an hour ago. She holds up her phone. A news alert shows the face of a rival triad leader in Hong Kong. Dead. A sudden massive cerebral hemorrhage. The muscle in Jaehwan's jaw tightens. He looks toward his son's closed door, a sterile white panel in a long dark hallway, and then back at her. He sees the strength in her, the fierce spirit he fell for, but now it is laced with a primal terror that makes her fragile. He is the cold king of the Seoul underworld, a man who commands armies and moves markets with a single word. Yet he is utterly powerless against this. He is vulnerable, and he hates the feeling. That night, sleep offers no escape. The air in the bedroom grows heavy, thick with the impossible scent of salt water and ancient churning storms. A figure shimmers into existence at the foot of the bed, coalescing from the shadows. It is a woman of impossible beauty and terrifying power, her skin the color of the deep ocean at midnight, her eyes holding the cold wisdom of millennia. Yemoja. The goddess does not speak with her mouth, but her voice crashes into Aaliyah's mind like a tidal wave, a force of nature that scours her thoughts. A debt is owed. A life was given to you, a child of two bloods, a bridge between worlds. Now, that bridge demands a toll. The power that flows through you, the power that protects your family, requires a sacrifice, a choice. Three paths explode in Aaliyah's mind, each a hyper-realistic vision more terrible than the last. The first shows her wielding immense power, the black veins now covering her own arms like dark lightning. She stands beside Jae-hwan as his enemies turn to dust at her whim, but his face is twisted in horror. He looks at her as if she is a monster, a stranger wearing the face of the woman he once loved. The second path shows her life with Jae-hwan, pure and unbroken. They are laughing, their hands intertwined, the threat gone. But they are standing over a small grave, and the silence is absolute, their son's laughter silenced forever. The third path shows her son, a young man, healthy and handsome, free from the curse. But he is an orphan, laying flowers on two tombstones bearing her name and Jae-hwan's. Power, love, or your son's future. Choose one. The others will burn. Aaliyah's breath catches in a strangled sob. The choice is not a choice. It is a sentence. From the nursery, carried on the sterile, recycled air of the penthouse, a soft, happy giggle floats through the crushing silence. Aaliyah chooses defiance. She rejects the goddess's cruel ultimatum. She will not be a pawn in some cosmic game. She will find another way. Her days become a frantic race against an invisible clock. She transforms a guest room into a workshop of old magic, surrounding herself with ancient texts, brittle scrolls, and clay bowls filled with herbs her grandmother taught her to recognize. The air grows thick with the smoke of burnt sage and myrrh. She spends her nights whispering prayers in a language her own mother barely remembered, trying to build a spiritual wall around her son, a shield to contain the darkness. But it is useless. The curse is not an intruder she can banish. It is in his blood. It is part of him. Her rituals fail, leaving her exhausted and hollow. The black vein under his skin lengthens, a dark, ugly river creeping inexorably toward his heart. Her resistance has consequences. The visions begin. They are no longer abstract choices but brutal, specific premonitions. She sees a playground bathed in the warm light of a Sunday afternoon. She hears the joyful shrieks of children. She recognizes the face of a small boy on the swings. It is Kenji, the son of Jae-hwan's most loyal and trusted ally. Then, the vision shifts. A flash of violence. A black car, a burst of automatic gunfire aimed at a rival passing by. A stray bullet. Kenji falls from the swing, a crimson flower blooming on his small chest. The vision ends with a crystal-clear image of a calendar. The date is 2 days from now. The curse needs a soul. If it cannot take a designated enemy, it will take an innocent. It is hungry. She runs to Jae-hwan, her voice ragged with panic as she describes the vision. She watches his face, searching for the man she loves, the father, but she finds only the boss. His mind is a fortress of strategy and consequence. He does not see a dying child. He sees a political disaster, a broken alliance, the first crack in his empire's foundation. The whispers have already started. The other syndicates, the old families who resent his meteoric rise, are talking. They say the foreign woman is the source of the chaos. They say she is a witch, a liability bringing bad fortune. They offer him a deal, delivered in a single lacquered box containing nothing but a dead white dove. Give them Aaliyah, and they will guarantee his empire's stability. He stands before her, the weight of his world pressing down on him. The coldness in his eyes is absolute. For the first time, he does not see the mother of his child. He sees a threat, a variable he cannot control. The golden cage she lives in suddenly feels very small, its bars cold and unyielding. They say you are the problem, he says, his voice devoid of emotion, as if discussing a failing stock. They say you are a danger to us, to our son. He does not say he believes them, but he does not say he does not. He is weighing his options. He is calculating her worth against the stability of his entire world. That night, as she watches her son sleep, his face so serene and innocent, she feels the true meaning of despair. Her protector, the father of her child, the man she bled for, is considering the unthinkable. He is considering sacrificing her to save himself. The truth arrives not in a vision, but in a moment of chilling, soul-shattering clarity. Aaliyah sits on the floor of the nursery, watching her son sleep. The black vein pulses faintly in time with his tiny heartbeat. She touches the Yemoja tattoo on her shoulder, the source of her power and her pain. And she understands. The curse is no longer a simple hex cast by a jealous Minso. It is not an ancient spirit demanding a debt. It has evolved. It has mutated. When she sacrificed a part of her own life force to save Jae-won from Minso years ago, she invited a sliver of that dark energy into herself. When she conceived and gave birth to his son, a child of two powerful bloodlines, she gave that energy a new, perfect vessel. The curse fed on Minso's jealousy, then on her own desperate love for her family, and now it has latched onto the purest host it could find, the heir. Her son is not possessed. He is a prophet. His laughter is not a trigger for death. It is a prophecy of a death that is already written in fate. The curse is not just killing Jae-hwan's enemies to protect him. It is clearing the board for a new player. It is building a new empire, a new hierarchy of power, with her bloodline at its absolute center. A flicker of horrifying, intoxicating power courses through her. If she can understand it, perhaps she can direct it. She closes her eyes and focuses on a man within their own organization. A trusted lieutenant who she now realizes has been slowly leaking information to their rivals. She pushes her will into the curse, not fighting it, but guiding it, offering it a target. For a moment, she feels a connection, a sense of absolute, godlike control. It feels like breathing after being held underwater for a lifetime. The next morning, the news arrives. The traitor is dead. A sudden massive heart attack in his car. Clean, invisible, perfect. Aaliyah feels a surge of dark triumph. She did it. She can control it, but the news report continues. The traitor was driving to the meeting with their rivals. When his heart stopped, the car swerved onto the sidewalk, hitting and killing a young woman on her way to work. The curse took the target she gave it, and it took a random soul as payment, a tax for its services. The power is not hers to command. She is merely its conduit, and its appetite is growing. She has not found a weapon. She has become the trigger for a gun that fires 2 bullets at once. She is at the bottom. The man she loves sees her as a liability. The power she wields is a wild, indiscriminate storm. Her son is a vessel for a cosmic force of death. In her despair, kneeling on the cold marble floor of the penthouse, surrounded by a fortune that cannot buy her peace, Aaliyah finds a sliver of insight. She cannot control the curse, but she can give it a feast so large it will be satisfied for a long time. She cannot aim it like a rifle, but she can point it like a beacon. She must stop fighting it and instead become its master, not by force, but by a final terrible sacrifice. She makes her choice. It is not for power, not for love, but for her son's future. She will become the cold, untouchable queen the curse wants her to be. She draws a circle of salt on the floor, lights black candles that suck the light from the room, and begins a forbiddance ritual. It is a ritual of severance, of emotional death. She takes all her love for Jae-hwan, every tender memory, every shared glance, every ounce of warmth that makes her human, and offers it to the curse as fuel. She is sacrificing her heart to sharpen her sword. As she chants the ancient words, she feels the memories being burned away, turning to ash inside her. The spiritual bond between herself and Jae-hwan snaps with an audible crack in her soul. An unbearable cold fills her, but with it comes a terrible diamond-hard clarity. She focuses her will, now unburdened by love or fear, on one target, the leader of the syndicate who demanded her head and orchestrated the campaign against her. She pours all her pain, her rage, and her sacrificed love into a single focused point of lethal energy. The next day, every major figure in the rival syndicate is dead. Strokes, aneurysms, freak accidents. An entire organization decapitated overnight. Jae-won's empire is absolute. He is safer than he has ever been. But when he looks at Aaliyah, he sees only a beautiful, terrifying stranger with cold, ancient eyes. He has his kingdom, but he has lost his queen. That night, for the first time in weeks, their son wakes up. He sits bolt upright in his crib, his dark, almond-shaped eyes glowing with an unnatural, internal light. Aaliyah and Jae-won rush to his room, a shared, forgotten instinct driving them. He turns his head, and his gaze seems to pierce through them, seeing not his parents, but pieces on a board. His lips, so small and perfect, part. A voice, ancient and cold, echoes from his chest, a perfect imitation of Minso's sarcastic tone. The debts of this family are not yet paid. At that exact moment, Jae-won's phone buzzes on the nightstand, a priority alert. Then another, and another. A cascade of notifications lights up the dark room. He grabs the phone, his face turning pale as he reads the headlines. Simultaneous, inexplicable deaths. The heads of the Yakuza in Tokyo, the Triad leaders in Hong Kong, the Bratva bosses in Moscow. The curse is choosing its own targets now. It is no longer just protecting an empire. It is conquering the world. What is its endgame? And who is next on its list? If you want to find out, smash that like button, comment your wildest theories below, and share this with everyone you know. You are not going to want to face what comes next alone.